I was a third generation
yeah.
Coors employee. So yeah, I've saw it from birth. I used to joke that there was Coors Light in my baby bottle. You know? But I grew up fetching beers for Grandpa.
Welcome to Stout Conversations, where every week we sit down with creative thinkers in the craft beer industry and beyond. Your hosts, Ken and April, live and work in a 24-foot RV, traveling the country in search of great stories around a great beer. Meeting with Brett and Karla, co-owners and husband and wife team of the newly opened Old 121 BrewHouse in Lakewood, Colorado, we learned very quickly of their passion for creating community that matches the culture of a neighborhood. These two punk-loving souls will welcome you in immediately with a genuine smile and a great handcrafted beer or soda, making you feel as though you've finally come home.
For people who are familiar with breweries in Lakewood, this used to be Caution Brewing.
Yes.
Quite a few years ago. They decided to leave the brewing business, and then you guys step in. So how did this all come about? How did you guys get, I mean, that just doesn't happen overnight. I mean,
So we live in the neighborhood
Okay.
and have been in the industry for many years. I've worked with Danny, previous owner of Caution, in the past when I was employed at another brewery. So we had been here, we knew of it, we knew of them in the industry. And we had heard kind of through the grapevine that they were ready to move on or potentially looking to move on and do something differently. So we reached out, connected, and it was just a good fit for them to move on and continue doing what they wanted to do, and for us to throw our hat in the ring at owning our own brewery and making our own beer.
So how did you come up with that doesn't just go, okay, these guys are selling their brewery, let's buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, did it happen that fast, or was it more like you guys have been thinking about it for a while?
A little bit of both.
Because you said you were in the industry.
Yeah. So I started at Coors many years ago, and put a lot of time in there in different manufacturing roles, packaging, manufacturing cans, bottles, actually building vessels. And while I was working there, we were living in Golden, and we had a misfired opportunity for starting a brewery. And when that happened, we sort of had the skeleton of a business plan in place, and we just said maybe some other day, and we put it on a shelf.
So was this like a starting from the ground up in Golden, or was there another brewery there you were looking to buy?
No, it would have been a ground up
It
opportunity.
just didn't work out?
Yep, it was sort of, we were very early in looking into doing it, and it just, didn't quite pan out. But anyway, we had the skeleton for the business plan, and we put it on a shelf, and we thought, maybe again some other day, some other time, many years down the road. Here we are many years down the road, and and then so the opportunity presented itself for us to do something in our own backyard, and we kind of already had the skeleton for some ideas about specifically what kind of brewery we wanted to make, and that's kind of, I think, one of the bigger challenges when starting a brewery. Everybody asks, what kind of brewery are you going to be? Are you going to be a Belgian brewery? Are you going to just do big beers? Like, what is your thing? And for us, we had always wanted to do neighborhood watering hole. Kind of having every man's beer, be approachable, be family friendly.
Kind of like a throwback to the old pub days.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, having both grown up in Golden, that was our experience with what beer meant. I mean, you grow up in the shadow of Coors, and everyone is very into that, like local watering hole. Go and have the Coors that you just made in the pub down the street, and hang out and know your neighbors. So that's what we knew. That's what we wanted to recreate.
Well, and you guys know Coors from, they're now big beer,
Yes.
alongside AB, InBev, and Budweiser, that whole thing. But I mean, Coors, for people from Colorado, you've probably seen Coors from the days when it felt more like a family business, because it was a family business at one time.
Yeah.
Now it's not so much, but
Well,
I mean, it was always big. But
Brett,
I was a third generation Coors employee, so I've saw it from birth. I used to joke that there was Coors Light in my baby bottle, but I grew up fetching beers for Grandpa, and Karla's first brewery tour when her mother was still pregnant with her was at Coors.
No, okay. Let's say
Wow.
it was after my birth. I was out, so I was fine that she was having the beer.
What was in the bottle that you were drinking?
Yeah.
Probably Coors Light. Although
Well, as
we
long
used
as
to
it's
sell
the light.
soda.
As long as
Yes.
it's Coors, not
Light.
Coors Banquet.
That's for when you get older.
That's
Well,
right.
We got to see the business, Coors specifically evolve and grow, and it still always felt like, even, by the time I had left, it still felt, like a small, close-knit group of people. And a lot of families and a lot of family friends are still employed there, and we still have a lot of great friends there.
So your hope for Old 121 is to get as big as Coors?
No.
The family feel like Coors.
Right.
Yeah.
However, so what would your hope for 121 be then, if you don't want to be like that?
I mean, legitimately, we built this business as a taproom only business model. So the only packaged beer that leaves here is Crowlers, and that's intentional. I've been a part of a handful of breweries that started very small like this, and then, within 18 months, it was, we need new distribution channels, can everything day and night, go, 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 and time again, that kind of took the wind out of my sails. And Karla's via having to live with me, because it was this, really cool thing that, was grassroots and had a lot of followers, and then, those places still do and always will, but the transition into ramping up into a big production facility was never what we wanted to do, and not what we're going to do. So I think what we'd like to see long term is that, people enjoy this place and they support it and come to gather here as a community, and if the business model, allows and is successful, then we'll duplicate it in another small town somewhere. But that's very far down the road, and right now we'd just like to see people come and enjoy it and enjoy the fact that we're not trying to conquer the world with our beer.
So if you take this down the road, this idea of the neighborhood watering hole, would it still be Old 121 at another location, or
No,
what's the
it
thought
would
behind that?
it would certainly be something more relative to the neighborhood. So Old 121 is a nod to Wadsworth. Our frontage faces and touches Wadsworth.
Right,
Wadsworth
which
is
is-
State Highway 121. So the idea would be to tailor that to wherever the next place would
So
be.
truly keep every location a watering hole
Exactly.
for that neighborhood.
And we have learned so much more about what Lakewood is doing right now and the people of Lakewood, and you have to go in and experience that if you ever go somewhere else and find out what that neighborhood is. So the idea of a neighborhood watering hole can be replicated, but you have to be a part of that neighborhood, and it's a different journey.
And you guys do a lot of community events, fundraisers for the football team,
Yeah.
You've had a music event you did have recently was for the Tony Sly Foundation, right?
Yeah.
Where you had bands come in and play Tony Sly's music, and for a foundation that was named in his honor.
Yeah. So that was something that was very close to our heart. And from before the time we opened the doors, we knew we were going to be doing this event. So Tony Sly was the singer of a Bay Area punk rock band called No Use for a Name. When he passed away, and his music's always touched me, and even later in his musical career, his solo stuff got really deep, and I really connected to it. But he passed away 7 years ago, a little over 7 years ago now. And when he did, his brother and wife started a foundation in his name to help kids be involved in music specifically, is what they focus on. So whether it's keeping instruments in classrooms or keeping music programs in schools that are going to lose them otherwise, that's their focus, and they have a very narrow scope. And we just thought this would be a great fit. So they're a national foundation, but we wanted to try and do our best to keep any community fundraising we do here in the neighborhood. So they helped us connect with a local organization called the Youth on Record, which specifically targets underserved teens in our community, the Denver and surrounding communities, and helps them get access to leadership programs and creative arts programs. So through the fundraising for the Tony Sly Music Foundation, we were able to raise a lot of money, and then the foundation channeled it right back into our community. And it was a huge hit.
Yeah, I was here that night,
Yeah.
and that was, the room was packed. And,
We've already gotten the blessing from the foundation to hold this event annually.
oh, awesome.
And we're already looking at next year holding it in a proper venue, so that more people can come and enjoy it.
But they were in that what, like late 90s, early 2000s
Yeah.
with like the
Yep.
Pennywise and different bands like that.
Yeah, so they were on Fat Records, so that whole kind of, Strung Out, NoFX, Pennywise, that kind of group.
All those bands still have a pretty loyal following
Yeah.
in Denver, and those people turned out with
Yeah.
their kids, which was really the funnest part of
That
that
was
event.
cool.
It was seeing all of these old school punk rocker people that we've been to concerts with, and then all of their kids running around the brew house at the same
Oh,
time.
yeah.
It's like, that's why we do the soda and non-alcoholic menus right alongside the beer stuff that we do. It's because it's for everyone.
Right. So you have a 1-year-old business, a family.
Yes.
And if I'm understanding correctly, you also work another job.
Yes. Monday through Friday, I'm a financial analyst.
Okay.
So that's still my 40-hour-a-week job, and provides us with excellent health care coverage, things that are practical on that side of it. But it's still something I really enjoy to go do, and I think I get skills and knowledge from that side that I can use in support of the business. But maybe we're not quite ready to spend 60 hours a week together and go together.
So Brett, you're the brewer here, the head brewer. And so Karla, what's your role? Obviously it has something to do with the business
Yes,
side.
more of the business manager, taking care of accounting, compliance, taxes, the stuff that is very unglamorous. Although you always argue that actually brewing is not that glamorous either.
We've heard that a lot. It's a lot of cleaning.
Yes, but and then I help out in the tap room whenever needed, because that's the fun part for me, is engaging with the customers over the counter and talking about what beer they like, giving them different things to try, and kind of, if they are a standard domestic drinker, we've got something that may introduce them to craft and get them on this path of consumption. So I think it's something that brings me joy every day that I get to do it.
Seems like you have like a good balance, for lack of a better word, between the two of you, like trying to get that to business going and making that work.
Yeah, and with Brett's background both at Coors and then working in craft breweries across town, I knew that eventually I would have to kind of get some additional business knowledge around this industry if we were going to really succeed at that idea. So I went back to Colorado State University for a certificate from their beverage business management institute. And that really opened my eyes to the additional the 3-tier system for distribution in Colorado and how fun we are with that. Just getting knowledge around those business administration practices that were specific to this industry really helped, and the networking.
Actually, speaking of beers though,
Yes.
what do you guys have, like beers that you like to brew? Do you have like ones that your customers really like, or?
Yeah, so we kind of had an idea in the beginning of a few that we wanted to
She's
do.
smiling.
I'm smiling because I'm lifting like
Yeah, so Karla's drinking the honey brown.
the honey brown ale, which
Yeah.
was one of our first recipes that we developed, and just out of the gate, I fell in love with it. So pretty much anytime I'm in here, I will have one. So that's my personal favorite, and it's luckily one of our flagships, so it's on pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Nice.
We knew we wanted like an every man's beer, an every woman's beer. We wanted a lager on tap that was our house lager, something that's repeatable, drinkable, and approachable for people. No matter what's in their refrigerator, it's going to have something they can recognize.
Well, there's millions of people drinking those beers.
There are, so
there's nothing wrong with having something that they might enjoy.
Yeah.
Instead of jumping into the deep end of the pool.
Right,
where,
right.
Holy cow, what's in this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so we kind of originally tailored the core group of beers around that. Like we wanted to have something, our house IPAs, West Coast. We wanted to have something for people who like hoppy beer. We wanted to have, the lager is just something approachable for everybody. The honey brown for people who tend towards that malty side. So we try and keep that kind of core group, approachable, and then from there, like what you were drinking, the New Zealand IPA.
New Zealand IPA.
that was a suggested recipe from a very close friend of the brewery. He actually came and brewed the first version here with
cool.
us.
And I have had both versions, and they're both great.
Yeah, thanks.
I like them a lot.
And we like calling it out as a New Zealand IPA. Because most people have New England IPAs on their board, and we do not have a New England IPA. We have a New Zealand
and this
IPA.
isn't, that's not that hazy. This is still a very clear,
Right.
crisp beer.
Yeah, it is,
It's a good IPA, but you wouldn't associate it with a West Coast style.
No, yeah. Well,
It's got a very distinct.
It's certainly more
Citrus.
pale, and it's very citrus. It's all New Zealand hops. So that was kind of the inspiration.
Right, and an American, you kind of get that grapefruity, maybe some orangey stuff, but this you get more on the lime, lemon, that side of things, and I think that's what kind of breaks New Zealand off from
Right.
America, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Then you're drinking the rum barrel aged Oktoberfest. That was another fun one. So like where we're stepping outside the box a little bit, but not really, not so far outside the box that it's you have to think too hard about it. Oktoberfest is seasonally appropriate right now, so it's a Märzen beer base. And our partners at Mile High Spirits had a single rum barrel that they just needed something to do with.
And you're drinking the orange hop.
Yeah, orange hop soda.
How's that?
Yeah, so it's a dry soda. So we always try and keep 25% of our draft system non-alcoholic, and whether that's craft sodas that we create here in house, craft teas that we create here in house, or teas that we keep on draft from a local manufacturer here in Denver called Tico, and we do that for a variety of reasons. Like right now, I was not feeling a beer, so it's nice to have something cold, bubbly that we created that's refreshing and different. But yeah, it's a soda, unsweetened soda, so it's dry essentially. There's no sugar at all, and it's made with hops and orange zest. So it's light, refreshing, crisp, clean. People can try it, in between beers for a little bit of a break, or if you're the driver, whatever the case may be. People have a variety of reasons for not drinking alcohol, but still being social creatures and wanting a place to hang out with their friends that do.
I would love to know more about your logo, actually.
So we worked with a designer here in town, Jeff Allen, from Fun Is Okay. So we gave him some ideas of what our inspiration was. So what was Old 121, right? So it's an old agricultural highway that's now a huge thoroughfare for the community, kind of bisecting Lakewood from north to south. And so we gave him some ideas, like, you walk around the cultural center and it has like an old gas station, an old diner, and that's just part of this park here behind us. Some old buildings that were restored from the original Lakewood strip.
That classic signage approach.
Okay.
Yeah. And he came back with a handful of different designs, and this one, so lovingly, we call this whole piece the beer drop.
I love that.
And
Perfect.
the inspiration for the shape around it was the old register, a cash register.
Oh, yeah, like the little flag things.
That would pop up. Yeah, with the
Whatever
numbers
they
on
are.
it.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of his inspiration, was something old and bringing it new.
So when we were finishing design elements in here, we wanted this to be like a flag, like the rallying point of the brand, because it is just the center of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So our brand is Living a Stout Life. And for us, that has a meaning. It's kind of a living life with intent, and it's not, it has a double meaning because we love craft beer and breweries, and that's a big part of it, but it's also about living life with intent and, making choices about your life and doing things you want to do. But for you guys, for Brett and Karla, what is living a stout life, and what's your stout life?
I mean, kind of what we're doing right now.
I'm like, I think we are doing it.
Yeah, no, I think we are living our stout life.
I think it's kind of a loaded question when you hit
well,
passionate brewers and brewery owners. So.
It's the, for us, it's, raising a family, raising this business, and being, good stewards in our community to the community, the environment, and the beer that we want to make.
Yeah.
And just doing that every day, and that's enough.
And it sounds like a simple statement, and I certainly have friends who, when I go through the list of, well, what'd you do last week? And I'm like, I lay it out, and they're like, okay, so how are you doing that? I was like,
when?
When now?
We just, when you want to do it, you make it happen. And we are lucky to love what we're doing and love where we're doing it.
Yeah.
That's great. That deserves cheers.
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 Cheers, guys. Thank you for coming
Cheers.
in.
Yeah,
It was
cheers.
awesome. We have new conversations every week. Be sure to subscribe to Living a Stout Life so you don't miss out. We'd love to hear from you. Brett and Karla have made a connection with musical nonprofits to give back to their community. What nonprofits do you support? Let us know in the comments below or by clicking the link in the description.
Absolutely. You know, Sam
That's kinda
and
cool.
Katie were customers super early on, and we just developed a little bit of a relationship.
We closed on our house in the neighborhood the
Oh,
weekend
really?
of the soft opening.
Yeah.
Oh,
Came
awesome.
by for a beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good way to
so-
celebrate.
Yeah.
So we brewed up the ESB, and we're getting ready to fill some firkins of it, so we can do a traditional cask preparation.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I saw the hand pump out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
So
that would be awesome.
that's kind of what we're doing this afternoon.
Awesome.
But yeah, this is the brew house back here.
Do you mind if you're on camera?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
3-barrel brew house, combination mash tun and whirlpool, so mash tun above whirlpool. And yeah, Sam's just getting done sanitizing some firkins, and we're gonna fill them up.
Cool.
With that ESB.
Sanitizing and cleaning.
Yeah.
The fun
I'm a
part.
brewer.